I went up to the peak of the little mountain and ran my eye on the continuous vicinity. Over towards summit, I expected to see the sturdy yeomanry of the village, armed with scythes and pitchforks, beating the countryside for the dastardly kidnappers. So he goes up on the mountain and he's expecting to see everybody looking for the kid. What I saw was a peaceful landscape dotted with one man plowing with a dun mule. Nobody was dragging the creek, no couriers dashed hither and yon, bringing tidings of no news to the distracted parents. There was a sylvan attitude of solemnness sleeping, pervading that section of the external outward surface of Alabama that lay exposed to my view. So there's nothing going on. That's all he's trying to say. Perhaps, says I to myself, it had not yet been discovered that the wolves had borne away the tender lambkin from the fold. Heaven help the wolves, says I, and went down the mountain to breakfast. So he goes up there, sees no one's looking for the kid, and he thinks, well, maybe they just haven't figured out that he's missing yet. When I got to the cave, I found Bill backed up against the side of it, breathing hard, and the boy threatening to smash him with a rock half as big as a coconut. Is that how you spell coconut, really? He put a red-hot boiled potato down my back, explained Bill, and then mashed it with his foot, and I boxed his ears. Have you got a gun about you, Sam? I took the rock away from the boy and kind of patched up the argument. I'll fix you, says the kid to Bill. No man ever yet struck the Red Chief, but when he got paid for, you better beware. After breakfast, the kid takes a piece of leather with strings wrapped around it out of his pocket and goes outside the cave unwinding it. What's he up to now, says Bill anxiously. You don't think he'll run away, do you, Sam? No fear of it, says I. He don't seem to be much of a homebody, but we've got to fix up some plan about the ransom. There don't seem to be much excitement around Summit on account of his disappearance, but maybe they haven't realized he's gone. His folks maybe think he's spending the night with Aunt Jane or one of the neighbors. Anyhow, he'll be missed today. Tonight we must get a message to his father demanding $2,000 for his return. So they say they don't think the kid's going to run away, and since no one's looking for him, they're going to have to put together a note that says, give us $2,000, and in exchange, we'll give you your kid back. Just then we heard a kind of war whoop, such as David might have emitted when he knocked out the champion Goliath. It was a sling that Red Chief had pulled out of his pocket, and he was whirling it around his head. I dodged and heard a heavy thud as kind of a sigh from Bill, like a horse gives out when you take the saddle head. A niggerhead rock the size of an egg had caught Bill behind his left ear. He loosened himself over it and fell in the fire across a frying pan of hot water for washing the dishes. I dragged him out and poured cold water on his head for half an hour. So this kid kind of sounds pretty evil. He's found a sling, he's throwing at people, he's whooping around. By and by, Bill sets up and feels behind his ears and says, Sam, do you know what my favorite biblical character is? Take it easy, I says. You'll come to your senses presently. King Herod, he says. You won't go away and leave me here alone, will you, Sam? I went out and caught the boy and shook him until his freckles rattled. If you don't behave, says I, I'll take you straight home. Now, are you going to be good or not? I was only funning, he says sullenly. I didn't mean to hurt old Hank. But what did he hit me for? I behaved, Snake Eye. If you won't send me home, if you let me play the Black Scout today. I don't know the game, says I, for that's you and Mr. Bill to decide. He's your playmate for the day. I'm going away for a while on business. Now, you can come in and make friends with him and say you're sorry for hurting him, or you can go home at once. I made him and Bill shake hands and then took Bill aside and told him I was going to Poplar Cove, a little village 3 miles away from the cave, and find out what I could about the kidnapping and how I've been regarded in Summit. Also, I thought it was best to send a peremptory letter to Old Man Dorset that day demanding a ransom and dictating how it should be paid. So he's saying he's going to send a letter to the kid's family and saying how he should be paid the money, right? Oh, you give me the money, I'll give you a kid back. You know, Sam, says Bill, I've stood by without batting an eye. In earthquakes, fire, flood, in poker games, dynamite outages, police raids, train robberies, and cyclones. These people sound like they're up to lots of bad things. I'll never lost my nerve yet till he kidnapped that two-legged skyrocket of a kid. He's got me going. You won't leave me alone with him, will you, Sam? I'll be back sometime this afternoon, says I. You must keep the boy amused and quiet till I return. And now we'll write the letter to Old Man Dorset. Bill and I got paper and a pencil and worked up the letter while Red Chief, with a blanket wrapped around him, strutted up and down guarding the mouth of the cave. Bill begged me tearfully to make the ransom $1,500 instead of $2,000. I ain't attempting, he says, to decry the celebrated moral aspect of parental affection, but we're dealing with humans, and it ain't human for anybody to give up $2,000 for that 40-pound chunk of freckled wildcat. I'm willing to take the chance at $1,500. You can charge the difference up to me. So to relieve Bill, I acceded, and we collaborated a letter that ran this way. So Bill's saying there's no way they'll pay $2,000 for this kid. Let's knock it $500 off, and we're only going to charge them $1,500 to give them their kid back. And this is the letter that they wrote together. They're saying they collaborated or wrote it together. We have your boy concealed in a place far from Summit. It is useless for you or the most skillful detectives to find him. Absolutely, the only terms on which you can have him restored to you are these. We demand $1,500 in large bills for his return. The money to be left at midnight tonight in the same spot and in the same box as your reply, as hereinafter described. If you agree to these terms, send your answer in writing by solitary messenger tonight at 8:30, after crossing Owl Creek to the road to Poplar Cove. There are 3 large trees about 100 yards apart, close to the fence of the wheat field on the right-hand side. At the bottom of the fence post towards the 3rd tree will be found a small pasteboard box. The messenger will place the answers in this box and return immediately to Summit. If you attempt any treachery or fail to comply with our demands as stated, you will never see your boy again. If you pay the monies demanded, he will be returned to you safe and well within 3 hours. These terms are final, and if you do not accede to them, no further communication will be attempted. Signed, 2 desperate men. So they're saying, if you want your kid back, you have to pay us $1,500, send that money and your reply by messenger, and return it to this town, right? And if you try and mess with us, or you don't listen to us, or you don't pay as much money, then you'll never see your kid again. So it says, I addressed the letter to Dorset and put it in my pocket. As I was about to start, the kid comes up to me and says, Snake Eye, you said I could play with Black Scout while you're gone. Play it, of course, says I. Mr. Bill will play with you. What kind of game is it? I'm the Black Scout, says Red Chief, and I have to ride the stockade to warn the settlers that the Indians are coming. I'm tired of playing Indian myself. I want to be the Black Scout. All right, says I. It sounds harmless to me. I guess Mr. Bill will help you foil the pesky savages. What am I to do, said Bill, looking at the kid suspiciously. You are the hoss, says Black Scout. Get down on your hands and knees. How can I ride to the stockades without a hoss? I think hoss means horse. You better keep him interested, I said, till we get the scheme going. Loosen up. Bill gets down on all fours, and a look comes into his eyes like a rabbit's when you catch it in a trap. How far is the stockade, kid? He asked in a husky manner of voice. 90 miles, says Black Scout, and you have to hump yourself there to get on time. Whoa, now! The Black Scout jumps on Bill's back and digs his heels into his side. For heaven's sake, says Bill, hurry back, Sam, as soon as you can. I wish we hadn't made the ransom more than 1,000. Say, you quit kicking me or I'll get up and warm you good. The kid's pretending that he's a horse. He's saying, hurry up. Whoa, hurry up. And the kid's saying, not good. And he's saying, if you keep kicking me, then I'm going to hit you. I walked over to Poplar Cove and sat around the post office store, talking with the Chaw Bacons and came into trade. One Whiskeran says he heard the Summit is all upset on account of Elder Eberdeeze's Dorset's boys having been lost or stolen. That was all I wanted to know. I bought some smoking tobacco, referred casually to the price of black-eyed peas, posted my letter surreptitiously, so without drawing attention, and came away. The postmaster said the mail carrier would come by in an hour to take the mail onto Summit. When I got back to the cave, Bill and the boy were not to be found. I explored the vicinity or area of the cave and risked a yodel or two, but there was no response. I lighted my pipe and sat down on the mossy bank and awaited deployment. In about half an hour, I heard the bushes rustle, and Bill wobbled out into the grassy glade in front of the cave. Behind him was a kid stepping softly like a scout with a broad grin on his face. Bill stopped, took off his hat, and wiped his face with his red handkerchief. The kid stopped about 8 feet behind him. Sam, says Bill, I suppose you think I'm a renegade, but I couldn't help it. I'm a grown person with masculine proclivities and habits of self-defense. But there's a time when all system of egotism and predominance fail. The boy is gone. I've sent him home. All is off. There was martyrs in old times, goes on Bill. But that suffered death rather give up the particular graft than enjoyed. None of them was ever subjugated to much supernatural tortures as this. I've been tried and faithful in our articles of depredation, but there came a limit. So he's saying that he couldn't take it anymore. He's a man and he can't pretend to be a horse.